Post to side, boys.
Post to side, boys, aye, sir. Side, boys. Let's see. Show. Cover. 2. Left, right. Face.
Rhode Island blue. Arriving. Commander, United States Navy. Arriving. Submarine 20. Arriving. Subgroup 10. Arriving. Post to side, boys.
Post to side, boys, aye, sir. Side. Left. Face. On cover. 2.
Color guard. Parade your colors.
Right to colors, color guard, aye. Forward. More. Detail. Halt. Left. Face. Freezing. On.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard. Fire colors.
Side to color guard, aye. Order. On. 2. Right. Face. Forward. More.
Chaplain Brown will now deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, The psalmist speaks of they that go down to the sea in boats, whose profession it is to ply the mighty oceans, saying that these sailors behold your great works and know your powerful presence in the deep and in their lives. We are reminded, Lord, of your role as a steady hand upon the helm, a place of refuge from storm or attack, even the moral heading by which to set our course. Today we celebrate these sailors here and the great service they have done as the crew of the USS Rhode Island Blue. And we rejoice that we see a little of this divine quality reflected in the leadership around us. In Commander Jeremy Miller, we see a leader who has stood unyielding watch over the well-being and success of this crew, a success noted and demonstrated through patrols, in training, and in maintenance, and in receipt of the battle lee. Bless him and Jamie as they move now to Offutt and Strategic Command. Bless also Commander Stephen Cole and his wife, Juliana, and their children as they join the Rhode Island Blue family. May he fulfill this common duty with uncommon distinction, and may his quality of character provide the steady heading for the next leg of this crew's journey. Be with them and us as you impel the progress of these sailors and this boat, we pray. Amen.
Nesting crew, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'll admit, while he was reading the biography, I thought I had a scared moment that I forgot my glasses. And I would not have been able to read this speech if I didn't have my glasses. So I do have them, so we can get started. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. It's always a great honor and privilege to be asked to speak at one of these events. So Jeremy, thank you for asking me to do this. I also, as I walked in today, I realized that we haven't been in the chapel for a change of command since I've been here. And I think if my aide is correct, it's been over a year since we've done one in here. So kind of creeping back maybe to a little bit more normal. Now we are all spread out and the crowd isn't as big and we don't have as many guests, but still a great day that we're slowly getting things a little bit more back to normal and be able to have the change of command here in the chapel. I want to welcome a few special guests. Commodore Gummer, thanks for joining me on the stage. Commanding Officers Cobbs, thanks for joining us today. I'd also like to welcome to the Group 10 team, Commander Steve Call and his wife Juliana, and Isaac, and Caleb, and Amalia. I hope I got that right, Amalia. Did I get that right? Oh, okay, sorry. Welcome to the Kings Bay team. You know, I know it's an exciting day for the whole family, and I'm sure you've been proud of everything that Steve has accomplished up to this point, and I hope you're looking forward to this exciting tour. Second, Jeremy, Jamie, welcome. It's great having you here today, and it's great having more of the family. Jan and Everett Miller, Diane and James, Jamie's parents, brother Chris, and sister-in-law Carrie, welcome to all of you. And to all of you, I want to give you special thanks. You know, a Navy career is easier and better when you have a supportive family. I appreciate all that you guys have done for Jeremy and Jamie through the years. And for Everett, I'd like to say a special thanks, and I should say Senior Chief. Retired 1995. Jeremy grew up as a Navy brat, and I think spending most of his time in Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. And after Senior Chief retired, they moved down here to the Jacksonville area, and Senior Chief continued his service to the country as working out at the Marine Corps Munitions Depot and still works there to today. And I want to especially thank you for providing an example and a positive influence in allowing Jeremy to choose to come serve in the submarine force. He did tell me yesterday that you never pressured him to join the Navy, but when he got interested in the submarine force, you did tell him that you were always happy and impressed with the submariners you'd met along the way. So thank you for giving him that word of encouragement, and thanks for the whole family for lending him to us for the last 20 years. most importantly, welcome to the crew of the USS Rhode Island Blue. This ceremony is really for you guys. Today, we will watch the transfer of all authority, accountability, and responsibility from one officer to another. This is an old Navy tradition, and the only requirement we have is that it's witnessed by the crew. It is a way for them to both formally and informally see that Commander Miller is gone and they have a new commanding officer. So it's great having the guests here, having the fellow commanding officers, but really today's ceremony is about the crew of the Rhode Island Blue. Hey, before I start discussing the man of the hour, Jeremy, and the Rhode Island Blue crew, I wanted to say a few things just about the entire Submarine Group 10 and Kings Bay team down here. So in Group 10, we do two main things. Hopefully we can do more than two things, but there are two main things is this: to provide strategic deterrence for the country by sending our ballistic missile submarines to sea, and to forward deploy our guided missile submarines overseas. We have successfully and without letting up the pace continued those two missions throughout this last very challenging year. In fact, our ballistic missile submarines have completed 9 patrols since the outbreak of the pandemic, which counts for over 650 days at sea. And our guided missile submarines have been deployed overseas 8 out of the last 10 months, with 7 consecutive months right now for Georgia being overseas. And we did that in the face of the pandemic and all the restrictions it put on our personal and professional lives. We did it in person. You know, we actually had to come to work, and we had to take the crew, and they have to be on the submarine or tightly confined quarters, and they had to take all the precautions to keep the COVID virus from spreading. And they've done that fantastically. You know, you can't telework strategic deterrence, and you can't really phone in forward naval presence. So I appreciate the effort of the entire Kings Bay team. And that's both the submarine crews and includes the Trident training facility, who get our submarine crews ready to deploy, the Trident refit facility, which does the repairs to our submarines, the Marines, who provide security and guard our weapons, all the way down to the folks that work in the base galley and keep everyone fed and happy, all right? It's a team effort. I couldn't be prouder of what the entire Submarine Group 10 Kings Bay team has been doing over the last year in particular. Jeremy Miller and the Rhode Island Blue crew have been an integral part of that success. During his time in command, the crew has successfully conducted 2 strategic deterrent patrols, both of which were extended from which I'm sure the families remember, were extended from the original length for various operational reasons. Jeremy shared with me yesterday, and you never know if this is just crew rivalry or not, that the Gold crew, the other crew, actually never even completed a full refit since the pandemic started. So if that's true, which I'm sure it is, the Blue crew, Jeremy and his crew, have been not only keeping up their operational end, they've carried the bulk of the maintenance responsibility as well. So great work to Jeremy and the entire crew completing those two patrols. But those 2 patrols really are just the culmination of a very successful 28-month tour here on the Rhode Island. Jeremy took command of the Rhode Island just as they came down here from Norfolk Naval Shipyard. Now, they went up to Norfolk for 2+ years in order to conduct a refueling overhaul, came back down, split crews, and from there, Jeremy took his crew to sea for the first time. And during that initial period in command, what they were tasked to do was to get the crew and the ship recertified so they could rejoin the strategic forces. What does that mean? It means a lot of inspections and a lot of assessments, a lot of people crawling all over your submarine, making sure that we are really confident that you can go to sea. That certification sequence culminates in something called demonstration and shakedown operations, a very unfortunate, garbled Navy term, We don't even know for sure what it means, but we usually refer to it as its acronym, a DASO. And that last at-sea portion of that DASO is that last step a submarine takes from being in the shipyard to being certified or to rejoin the front lines of defense. So you can imagine it has a lot of senior Department of Defense and Navy leadership interest. So I just think it's amazing that during that short underway, Jeremy and the Rhode Island hosted not one, but 2 4-stars, a 4-star Air Force general named General John Hyten, who's commander of Strategic Command, 4-star Admiral Frank Caldwell, the head of Naval Reactors, then 3-star Admiral Chaz Richard, who was the commander of the submarine forces, and then 3-star Admiral Johnny Wolf, who's oversees the strategic systems programs, the oversight of all the nuclear weapons systems in the Navy. That can be intimidating, having all of that firepower on board, but they perform spectacularly. They got nothing but praise and compliments from not just those senior officers, but everyone involved in that DASO operations. So it was that operation that allowed them to return to sea and for them to go and do those 2 patrols. So fantastic work bringing this ship back to life after a long shipyard period. Now the last thing I'll mention about his tour on Rhode Island may be the most significant. For the 2020, for the year of 2020, Rhode Island was recognized as the Squadron 20 Battle E winner, the Battle Efficiency winner. That is significant, and it's important, and it is, what does it mean? It means that Commodore Gummer and his team, over the duration of 2020, decided that Rhode Island was the most consistently above standards, the most consistently reliable, the one who performed the best most often, whether it was an inspection or an operation or whatever they had to do. So that recognition was a very fitting and important end to your command tour. So, Jeremy and Jamie will depart Kings Bay soon. I didn't ask when, but I assume soon, to continue their much-traveled Navy career. They met here in Kings Bay when Jeremy was a junior officer on the Maryland, and I think Jamie worked at a dance studio here in Kingsland, they've been together ever since. So after that, they've traveled about as far and wide as a Navy family can. From here to Charleston, to San Diego, to Tennessee, is that right? Also included stops in Hawaii, Bangor, the Pacific Northwest, which I think is their favorite, and then back here to Kings Bay. Now they're being called to the Midwest. This job that Jeremy's going to be taking is, once again, huge responsibilities and hugely important for the Department of Defense. He's going to be the head of nuclear planning at U.S. Strategic Command, the command that oversees all the employment of all the United States nuclear weapons. So a very important job, a very fitting complement for a very successfully served commanding officer. And for Jamie and Jerry, for what it's worth, on a personal note, I spent 2 years in Nebraska. I loved it there, my family loved it there, and hopefully you both enjoy it professionally and find it personally a good place to live. Lastly, to Steve Call and family, your impressive resume and great reputation gives me great confidence that you can continue the successes started by Jerry Miller and the Rhode Island Blue Crew. So welcome to the team, and I look forward to working with you as the years go forward. So once again, it's a huge honor to be here today. Thank you for the families, thank you for the crew, thank you for the guests for being here, and I'm happy to be able to help tell the story of the great success of Jerry Miller and the Rhode Island Blue Crew over the last 28 months. Thank you very much.
President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal, Gold Star, and the Third Award Commander Miller consistently performs demanding duties in an exemplary, highly professional manner. Under his leadership, he led Rhode Island Blue from the completion of an engineer refueling overhaul through initial certification and returned his crew to strategic service, supporting the top priority mission of the Department of Defense. During his tour, Rhode Island Blue expertly conducted the test launch of the Trident II D5 missile in support of demonstration and shakedown operations 29. Rhode Island Blue's performance in this highly visible demonstration of the nation's warfighting ability was lauded as best performance in memory. He empowered his leaders to generate first-time success in all certifications, allowing Rhode Island Blue to continuously meet the mission requirements of the combatant commander. He led the crew through multiple inspections, certifications, joint operations, and strategic return patrols exceeding expectations on all accounts. During his watch, Rhode Island Blue rose from an inexperienced crew to the 2020 Commander Submarine Squadron 20 Battle Efficiency Award winner. Commander Miller's exceptional professional ability, personal initiative, and total dedication to duty reflect a great credit upon himself and were keeping with the high traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the President, J.D. Spencer, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Commander, Submarine Group 10. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Jeremy Miller, Commanding Officer, USS Rhode Island.
Admiral, Commodore Gummer, fellow commanding officers, Rhode Island crew and family, welcome and thank you for coming this afternoon. Before I really get started, I'd like to acknowledge Chief Smith for a great rendition of the national anthem, so thank you, Shipmate. Yeah, for those that couldn't join us in person due to travel restrictions, thank you for watching. I think we're going to post this tomorrow, so you'll be able to watch it almost real time. I'd also like to give a special thanks and a hello to Miss Katie Mackley and her husband, their Honorable Ronald Mackley. They're the ship sponsors. They're in Rhode Island, obviously based on travel restrictions. They're not able to join us today, but I've spoken to her via email several times, and she would really like to be here today, so we regret that couldn't happen. They've devoted a lot of their time to this ship since the keel was laid, and sponsor for more than 25 years. So a testament to their effort. I thank you. I wish you could have been here. Admiral, thank you again for the kind words, taking the time out of your schedule. You probably should have synced up because I'm going to repeat some of the things that he said, but hopefully you'll bear with me. We only did so much. It's been my pleasure to serve as the commanding officer of Rhode Island since the return from the shipyard down to Kings Bay. As the Admiral said, taking an SSBN from the shipyard to a fully functioning strategic asset, I think is one of the hardest things that a submarine does in its time of life. You spend 2 years in the shipyard, you spend 2 weeks underway, or I think 15 days if you get delayed like we did a little bit doing sea trials, and then the schedule just continues to be tough. We got right underway and executed a tactical weapons certification down in AUTEC. We bring nearly every major inspection team on board, so you do an operational reactor safeguards exam, you get the nuclear weapons acceptance inspection, the litany of acronyms that you take care of in that first 8 or so months of the life of the ship. And then the pressure just keeps piling on. So we go into the DESO. The culmination of the DESO is a launch of a Trident II D5 missile. For the crew of Rhode Island, our goal was to launch on time. And actually there's a printout that comes as soon as you launch that missile that tells you when you did it. And the type commanders defined, we want this missile launched at 1300 on May the 9th in 2019. And we launched that missile at 1300 and 0 seconds on May the 9th on 2019. And that was a credit to the amount of work that this crew did. And after that, we're not done. Right? So after that, we pull in, and then we have to load 20 strategic missiles on board. The other crew owned the ship at the time, but that really is just an indicator of who the commanding officer is at the time. The crew all worked on the ship. It's a green crew, especially for the missile technicians. Those guys work around the clock to load those 20 missiles. And as that was wrapping up, we got called to get the ship underway a little early, and they did it. We were able to get the ship underway 2 weeks early after the strategic onload. So to take the ship from the shipyard to be ready to do the nation's highest priority mission, after 10 months, that's a tough task. And to say that Rhode Island succeeded in executing that task, I think is a huge understatement. If you measure success by inspection performance, we knocked every inspection out of the park. If you measure it by launching the missile on time, like I said, we launched that missile to the second when we were required to do so. And if you measure it by getting the ship underway on time, we got the ship underway early. So again, just utterly impressed by the effort put forth by both crews to get that hard mission accomplished. Okay. Since we returned to strategic service, the Blue Crew has continued exemplary performance in spite of obstacles and an ever-changing schedule. Cobb Wright and I would talk a lot, and I think several times we would say, I think the only thing that happened on time in our entire 2.5-year tour was we launched that missile on time. Nothing else was in accordance with the schedule that was written. The BSPs would be scheduled for 3 days later, and then we would have to do it the next day, or it would move further to the right. Both of our patrols were extended by multiple weeks. We ended up having to get the ship underway a month early one time in support of schedule changes to support prospective commanding officer training. And we did that in heightened OPSEC. So with the enemy close aboard, we got the ship underway ahead of schedule to meet the mission. And we transitioned that ship from pier side, in a pier side condition, to alert, to be able to do all the things you need to do to get the ship ready to meet the mission in that amount of time was absolutely amazing. And that was our first alert period. And so to the Blue Crew, that was just an amazing feat, I think. We spent numerous extra weeks in ROM sequester. I think I'm pretty confident that we are the ROM champions 2020. Who we are, Rhode Island? There you go. All right. But we didn't let that get us down. This crew always had the ability to have high morale. And even though we missed Thanksgiving 2 years in a row, unscheduled, we still kept our head up, keep charging, and we only accepted the best performance from everybody on the ship. One of the benefits that they say when you try to get onto an SSBN is that you have a predictable schedule. Come on, I think it's time we take that off of the amenities list for SSBNs. I'm on it. Okay, so that, they say that that life is better when you're qualified. Part of my command philosophy is that I think life is better when you're the expert. Right? I think this crew is a crew full of experts. Expertise has been recognized by everybody that comes on the ship. The Admiral mentioned the 4-star admirals that were on board, the 3-star admirals that were on board. We had the Secretary of Defense came down and did a tour. We had 2 different Secretaries of the Navy that came down to do tours. Nothing but high praise for the work that you guys were doing and the example that we were setting for the fleet. I think the most telling indicator, though, this is a crew of experts, obviously, is the battle lead and the strategic S. So strategic S, the best at executing the strategic mission on the Atlantic Fleet, and the battle lead, the best ship in the Atlantic Fleet, best SSBN in the Atlantic Fleet. To take a ship from the shipyard and do that in less than 2 years, utterly amazing and a true testament to your hard work, and I appreciate that. I can't tell you how proud I am to serve as your commanding officer. I can't tell you how proud I am of you as a crew to execute those missions. I've been very lucky. I've worked with outstanding crew. I'd like to be able to thank everyone by name, but you guys have other things to do. I will call out a few, though. I'll start, Cobb Wright. Cobb Wright got to the ship a couple months before me, left shore duty here at NSSC to go up to Norfolk to relieve as chief of the boat on Rhode Island. Cobb, your leadership throughout your time has been impeccable. You've been recognized, we also recognized the 2020 Hugh McCracken Award winner, which is the best chief's quarters in the Atlantic Fleet. That's a testament to your abilities as a chief of the boat and your leadership, and I appreciate that. Over my command tour, Cobb has given me sound advice. Sit in my stateroom. He would never sit in the seat, always kind of leaned up against the wall, and provided me advice. And I can't think of a time in my tour where I thought, I really wish the Cobb would have done whatever. Or I wish the chief's quarters was doing this thing and the Cobb would make them do it. Always ahead of me on those. Every decision I think that we came to, we always saw eye to eye, and I appreciate that. Most ships don't have that. There's always a little bit of give and take. It could be that you just use your Master Chief mind trick to make me think what you wanted was what I wanted. And if so, that's fine. Either way, we succeeded, so I appreciate it. Cobb Woods, you have some big shoes to fill. But I know you're ready to do that, and you're the Cobb for the job. Ever since you were my radio supervisor back in the day on Maryland, I knew you were destined for success. I could see it in your eyes. I've also been lucky to have 2 very strong executive officers, Commander Goebel, who's transferred up to DC, and then Commander Lee as well. You both served Rhode Island well. As the other COs in the room can attest, having a good XO is vital to the success of the ship and the sanity of the CO. I was able to sleep well at night knowing that you guys had the ship safe. I look forward to seeing you in command and coming to your change of command. For my department heads, I don't know what I did to the detailers to get the hookup that I did, but I appreciate it. I could talk for hours about the things that these guys have done in my command tour. Eng Schneider, who's now in the MPEB, getting the ship from the shipyard to getting the Red Engineering E in 1 year, absolutely amazing. So the best engineering department in the squadron in 1 year after being in the shipyard. And then Eng Kramer picking up where he left off and taking the engineering department and getting us to the best scores on an operational reactor safeguards exam that an SSBN has gotten in a decade. Right, that's a testament to your abilities as leader and your ability to empower the crew. Webs Pittman, off there teaching at the Naval Academy now, and Webs Hoffman, your leadership of the weapons department, leading us to getting the Strat S in the Battle Lead, that's a testament to your performance as well. Great job. Chop Perry is here somewhere. Your impact on the ship is immeasurable. Your ability to balance logistics and service and keep the crew's morale high, absolutely amazing. If anybody needed a part, Chop would get it. If I wanted chicken and waffles, Chop made it happen. Right? Anything we needed, Chop was able to make it happen. You're the driving force for morale on the ship, and it's always been high in my command tour, and I appreciate that. Nav Handgardner, your contribution to the Battle Lead and the Strat S can't be overstated. Not only that, but Nav qualified command prior to our first actual alert patrol, so he was able to stand CDO, command duty officer, for 2 patrols. That made my life a lot easier. I relied on your advice and recommendations, all except for one angle on the bow call. I think you nailed it across the board. You truly have been my 3rd officer. I know any one of these COs right now in the room would take you as our XO today. If you do decide to keep going, which I hope you do, I know you'll excel. To the ombudsman, Annie and Katerina, I can't thank you guys enough. We try with a little token, but that's not enough. While we're underway hiding from the pandemic, you guys are holding down the fort. We're getting extended, and there's 100 spouses calling you, asking for information that you don't have at all hours of the night. Fighting them off and trying to keep them as happy as they can be is a testament to your effort. I know you guys took care of so many more issues on Rhode Island than you signed up for, but I appreciate it. I truly do. Your work allows us to keep the ship at sea, allows us to not have to worry about the families, and I really do appreciate that. An ombudsman is the most thankless job in the Navy and one of the most difficult. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for the effort over the past 2 years. I could not have asked for a better ombudsman. For my family, thanks for being here to share this with us. I've been truly blessed. As the Admiral said, my dad was a 22-year senior chief in the Navy. He was a boiler technician, which that rate doesn't even exist anymore. For the submariners in the room, if you took 50% of an ELT and 50% of an A-ganger and you cram them together, that would be a boiler tech. So, smart enough as an ELT to get it done right in accordance with the book, and just enough A-ganger to get it right when nobody's watching. That's my dad. Growing up, my dad always encouraged me to be a hard worker and a leader, and I appreciate that. I can't count the number of times in my career I've thought, what will my dad do today? So thank you. I appreciate that. My mom's always been my strongest supporter, whether she's taken me and my brother around to wherever, cheering for us at Little League, helping me finish a project the night before it was due, because I started the night before it was due, because I truly live by the mantra, if you wait till the last minute, it will only take a minute. So she gave up all her free time to help me with those things and take care of me and support me along the way, so I thank you for that. Thank you for helping us out along the way. For Jimmy and Diane, I could not ask for better in-laws. You guys are amazing. For the past 17 years, you've traveled to every duty station that we've been to visit us and to be with Jamie when I was underway, and I appreciate that. I know you'll continue to do that, and you'll come to Offutt with us, hopefully without the foot of snow that fell last night, a little bit of a better weather when you get there. I appreciate that everything you do for Jamie and me. As the crew can attest, I always say that the Rhode Island has been important to me, but it is not the most important thing. I think that there are leaders out there that will put their ship ahead of the family, and I think you got your priorities in the wrong order when you do it that way, and I think the crew sees that as well. I think that's a disservice to the people that are truly the most important. As I always tell the crew, the most important things in my family, or the most important things in my life, are my wife and my cat. So Binks could not be here today, but due to chapel constraints, I believe we're not allowed to have cats in the chapel. But I would like to thank him for being the man of the house while I was underway and keeping Jamie safe from unseen predators. My wife, Jamie, is truly, without contest, the most important thing in my life. Without her, I could not do this. So thank you for following me all over the world. Thank you for being my sounding board. I relied on your input and backup to make decisions more times than you know. And thanks for letting me complain when I was having a bad day, because nobody else wants to hear the CO whine. I do appreciate that. Thanks for working with the ombudsman to take care of things when the schedule changed, as they always did. Jamie would have a great plan for what we were going to do for the Christmas when we're underway, what gifts we're going to have, and halfway boxes. And then I would come home and say, well, the schedule's different now. We're going to be underway for Thanksgiving. We're going to be home for Christmas, and then we're going to leave for 3 months. And you're able to rapidly change the plans and get that done. And when we would drop a mail drop on you 2 days out, she was able to get decorations out for the crew. I don't know how you did it, but it's amazing. Thank you for that. And thanks for supporting me through all these schedule changes. I know this last sea tour has been very tough for both of us, and I think the only thing that got us through it was knowing that it was going to be the last time that we go to sea. I think REO Speedwagon said it best when they said it's time to bring the ship into the shore and throw away the oars forever. So, I love you. I will now read my orders.
Attention.
From Commander, Navy Personnel Command. Subject, Bupers Orders 1670. When directed by Reporting Senior, detached in January 2021, report to United States Strategic Command. Commander Call, I'm ready to be relieved.
Commander Stephen Call, United States Navy.
Read my orders. From Commander, Navy Personnel Command, subject, Bupers Order 0130. You are directed to relieve Commander Jeremy Miller as Commanding Officer, USS Rhode Island Blue. I'm ready to relieve you. I'm ready to relieve. I relieve you. I relieve Commander Miller as Commanding Officer, Rhode Island Blue. I'm going to relieve the Commanding Officer. As Commanding Officer, Rhode Island Blue. Thanks.
Approved. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Stephen Call, Commanding Officer, USS Rhode Island Blue.
Thank you, Admiral Spencer, Commodore Gummer, distinguished guests, family, and friends. Thank you for being here with us today to celebrate Commander Miller's and Rhode Island Blue's accomplishments. To my wife, Juliana, thank you for walking alongside me through all these Navy adventures, just a portion of our life adventures. Thank you for being my biggest fan, staying beside me and always encouraging me and challenging me to grow and do better. You helped me become more of the man I was created to be. I love life with you, and I'm excited to serve with you in this new season. I love you, and I'm grateful for you. To my children, Caleb, Isaiah, and Amalia, thank you for always loving and encouraging me, and for being as excited to see me as our puppy is when I come home. Stay strong in this season where we will again have times apart. Remember, it's a sign of confidence and strength to keep talking through the hard and the happy. I am proud of you, and I love you. To Commander Miller, thank you for turning over to me the most incredible crew. Your accomplishments transforming a group of shipyard sailors into a finely honed team of warfighters is remarkable. To my crew, I'm honored to be your commanding officer, and I'm amazed at the talented teams of operators and maintainers you are. Thank you for the work you have done and will do to develop and grow to even greater heights. I'm excited to get to lead you and to serve you. Let's go be awesome.
Please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the departure of the Bishop Party. Chaplain Brown will deliver the benediction.
Let us pray once more. The Lord bless you all and keep you. May he grant our leaders new and old with the wisdom and strength to guide this crew on a steady course in hope of everlasting peace when the very world seems adrift. And may he bless the Miller family with fair winds, following seas, and the certain knowledge of a grateful crew. Amen.
Departing. Commander, United States Navy. Departing. Rhode Island Blue. Departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this